Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a critical geopolitical scenario, a hypothetical military conflict between Washington and Tehran in the year 2026. The world in 2026 is a complex chessboard. Great power competition has intensified, and regional tensions in the Middle East remain at a fever pitch. A direct confrontation between the United States and Iran, though a worst-case scenario, demands a sober, analytical look at the military capabilities and strategic options available to both sides. Our analysis will be based on publicly available information and strategic projections, exploring what such a conflict might entail. This isn't about predicting war, but about understanding the high stakes involved and the technologies that would define a modern battlefield. Let's begin by examining the arsenals. In 2026, the era of conventional warfare has been augmented by disruptive technologies. Chief among these are hypersonic missiles. For Iran, developing or acquiring hypersonic capabilities would be a game-changer. These missiles, traveling at over Mach 5, could theoretically bypass sophisticated US air defense systems like the Patriot and THAAD, threatening high-value targets such as aircraft carriers in the Persian Gulf or military bases across the region. Their speed and maneuverability make interception incredibly difficult, significantly compressing the decision-making time for commanders. For the United States, its own advanced hypersonic weapons program, including systems like the Dark Eagle, would provide unparalleled first-strike capabilities. Launched from submarines, bombers, or ground platforms, these weapons could neutralize Iran's command and control centers, nuclear facilities, and missile launch sites with devastating speed and precision, long before a conventional response could be mounted. A hypersonic exchange would be swift, brutal, and could escalate the conflict uncontrollably within the first few hours. The presence of these weapons on both sides creates a precarious balance, where the first to strike might gain a decisive, albeit terrifying, advantage. Next, we must consider the pervasive threat of drone swarms. By 2026, drone technology has matured far beyond the single, remotely piloted aircraft we've seen in past conflicts. Iran has invested heavily in developing large numbers of relatively low-cost, expendable drones. Imagine hundreds or even thousands of these unmanned aerial vehicles launched simultaneously. They could overwhelm the defenses of a US naval fleet, saturating radar systems and missile interceptors. Even if most are shot down, a few getting through could inflict significant damage on a multi-billion-dollar warship. This asymmetric strategy allows Iran to challenge US naval supremacy in the Gulf without needing a comparable navy. These swarms could target oil tankers, disrupt shipping, and create chaos in vital maritime choke points. The United States, in response, would deploy its own sophisticated counter-drone technologies. This includes directed energy weapons, high-powered lasers and microwave systems designed to fry drone electronics instantly. Advanced electronic warfare suites could jam the communication links that guide the swarms, causing them to fall from the sky or fly off course. We would also see the deployment of loyal wingman drones, AI-controlled unmanned fighters tasked with intercepting and destroying enemy drones, forming a protective screen around manned aircraft and naval assets. The battle would be a complex dance of electronic signals, autonomous systems, and kinetic kill vehicles. A true testament to 21st century warfare, where software and algorithms are as crucial as explosives. The third pillar of a modern conflict is cyber warfare, the invisible battlefield. In 2026, a physical strike would almost certainly be preceded or accompanied by a massive cyber attack. Iranian cyber units could target critical US infrastructure, the power grid, financial systems, transportation networks, aiming to cause chaos and panic on the home front, thereby eroding public support for the war. They could also launch sophisticated attacks against military communication networks, attempting to blind satellites, disrupt GPS navigation, and sever the data links that connect the modern US military. A successful cyber attack could render advanced weaponry useless, leaving troops and hardware vulnerable. On the other side, US Cyber Command possesses some of the most formidable offensive capabilities on the planet. They could retaliate with overwhelming force, potentially shutting down Iran's entire internet, disabling its electrical grid, and paralyzing its government and military command structures. US cyber weapons could cripple Iran's missile launch systems before they even get off the ground and disrupt the command links for its drone swarms. This digital blitzkrieg could theoretically neutralize much of Iran's ability to fight without a single bomb being dropped, demonstrating that in 2026, the first shots of a war are likely to be fired in cyberspace long before they are heard on the battlefield. Now let's turn to strategic options, focusing on the critical Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway is the jugular vein of the global oil supply. For Iran, threatening to close the strait is its ultimate strategic lever. In a conflict, Iran would likely use a combination of naval mines, anti-ship missiles launched from coastal batteries, and swarms of fast attack craft to make passage through the strait impossible. This would send shockwaves through the global economy, causing oil prices to skyrocket and putting immense pressure on Washington and its allies to de-escalate. It's an asymmetric strategy that turns a geographic choke point into a powerful weapon. The United States' primary objective would be to keep the strait open. The US Navy's Fifth Fleet, based in Bahrain, would lead a multinational coalition to secure the waterway. This would involve extensive mine-sweeping operations, a dangerous and time-consuming task under constant threat of attack. Carrier strike groups would establish air supremacy using F-35s and F-A-18s to hunt down and destroy Iranian missile launchers and naval assets. US submarines would patrol the depths, targeting Iranian naval vessels and submarines. The battle for the Strait of Hormuz would be a high-intensity, multi-domain operation, testing the limits of US naval power and resolve against a determined, well-prepared adversary fighting on its home turf. Beyond the immediate theater, regional defense systems play a crucial role. The United States and its regional partners, such as Saudi Arabia and Israel, have built a layered missile defense architecture. Systems like the Israeli Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow, integrated with US Patriot and THAAD batteries, form a protective shield against Iranian ballistic missiles. In 2026, this network would be more integrated than ever, sharing real-time tracking data across countries to provide early warning and increase the probability of interception. This defensive posture is designed to absorb an initial Iranian strike, preserving Allied military assets for a devastating counterattack. The goal is to blunt Iran's most powerful conventional deterrent, its vast missile arsenal. However, Iran's strategy would be to overwhelm these defenses through sheer volume. By launching hundreds of missiles and drones from various locations simultaneously, they would hope to saturate the defense network. They would mix fast, high-altitude ballistic missiles with slow, low-flying cruise missiles and drones, creating a complex threat profile that is difficult for any single system to handle. This doctrine of saturation is Iran's answer to the technological superiority of Western missile defense. It turns the conflict into a grim mathematical equation. Can Iran launch more projectiles than the Allies can intercept? The effectiveness of this regional shield would be one of the most critical and uncertain factors in the early days of a conflict. So, what would be the global impact of such a war? The consequences would extend far beyond the Middle East. The immediate closure of the Strait of Hormuz would trigger a global energy crisis. Oil prices would surge, potentially leading to a worldwide economic recession. Global supply chains, already fragile, would be severely disrupted. Countries dependent on Middle Eastern oil, particularly in Europe and Asia, would face immense economic and political pressure. This economic fallout could create political instability far from the battlefield. Furthermore, the conflict would risk drawing in other regional and global powers. Russia and China, who have their own strategic interests in the region, might support Iran diplomatically or materially, escalating the conflict into a broader great power confrontation. The humanitarian toll within Iran and the surrounding region would be catastrophic. The use of advanced weaponry in populated areas would lead to immense civilian casualties and a refugee crisis that would destabilize neighboring countries. A war between Washington and Tehran would not be a localized affair. It would be a global event with far-reaching and devastating consequences for international security and prosperity. In conclusion, a 2026 conflict between the United States and Iran would be a terrifying showcase of modern warfare. Defined by the speed of hypersonic missiles, the complexity of drone swarms, and the chaos of cyber attacks. While the US holds a significant technological and conventional advantage, Iran's asymmetric strategies, its geographic position, and its capacity to disrupt the global economy make it a formidable adversary. The potential for rapid, uncontrollable escalation is immense. This analysis highlights why deterrence and diplomacy are not just preferable options, they are essential. The cost of failure would be measured in global economic collapse and a human tragedy on an unimaginable scale. Understanding these stakes is the first step toward ensuring such a scenario remains purely hypothetical. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more in-depth content on geopolitics and defense. Stay informed and stay safe.